became a net food exporter.
India is the second largest producer of rice and wheat in the world. Between 3 million to 5 million Indians died of starvation. We have become a net exporter of food grains. There has been a dramatic improvement in productivity of Indian agriculture. The horticulture output is consistently higher than that of agriculture.
When the nation calls, knowledge answers. Welcome to Chai with Current, your one-stop destination for civil services strategy, current affairs, and mentorship that matters. Today, we bring you insights from someone whose pen has shaped public opinion for decades, whose mentorship has mentored hundreds of UPSC aspirants. It is wonderful to introduce Mr. SUTANU GURU, a veteran journalist, author, and a teacher with over 40 years of experience in institutions like the Times of India, the India Today Group, and the Economic Times. Currently serving as the Executive Director at Sea Water Foundation. Mr. Guru's sharp analysis is being regularly featured in top media platforms.
Thank you so much, Rupali. As our name suggests, Chai with Current, current means current affairs, and the tagline below is cracking the GS challenge. So it should be clear what we intend to do. I'll also state that we are not an organized coaching center. We will not be one. We will specialize in giving you historical perspectives and fresh insights into all news and current affair developments which are relevant for the general studies papers in all civil services examinations. And what do I mean by historical perspective and a fresh insight? Well, मुझे लगता है कि आप में से जितने सिविल सर्विसेज एस्पिरेंट्स हैं, इंक्लूडिंग यू, आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ यू, आप लोग शायद 21वीं सदी में ही पैदा हुए हैं, 21st सेंचुरी बॉर्न पीपल. सो गो एंड आस्क योर पेरेंट्स, अपने पेरेंट्स से जाके पूछिए और योर एल्डर्स कि व्हेन आई वाज बोर्न वेर यू यूजिंग स्मार्टफोन्स, व्हेन आई वाज बोर्न वेर यू एंजॉयिंग हाई स्पीड इंटरनेट, व्हेन आई वाज बोर्न वेर यू using digital payments and transactions, when I was born were you spending hours watching shows and music on YouTube, when I was born were you spending hours every day on a range of social media platforms? The answer is no. So look how dramatically in 25 years or less India and the world has changed. So every time there is a news development, we need this historical background, this historical perspective, and that is how we gain fresh insights. And do remember, friends, I will always say this every time, and this applies to people of all ages. Being better informed is always a recipe for higher chances of success. So हमें तो उम्मीद है कि आप सिविल सर्विसेज के एग्जाम में कामयाब हो जाएं, but no matter what career you eventually adopt, better informed raises the chances of your success, not just in your career but also in your life.
Thank you, sir. So welcome to this episode of Chai with Current. Today, we discuss a question asked recently in GS paper on the success story of Indian agriculture. Sir, the question asks us to explain how India became a net food exporter. So what is this issue? What do you think?
Well, it's actually, most of the times, Rupali, when we sit and make these episodes, a majority of the questions pertain to problems and challenges. This is a rare instance in which we are discussing a very, very big success story. And Indian agriculture, if you look at it historically, is a very big, very, very big success story. It's indeed a modern day miracle. So let me provide some historical context so that you understand this better. In 1943, when India was still under British occupation, there was a famine in Bengal, and between 3 million to 5 million Indians died of starvation. That was how poor the condition of Indian agriculture was. And you will be even more astonished, young friends, that between 1965 and 1967, when India was already an independent country, it is estimated that about 2 lakh to 3 lakh Indians died of starvation. Okay, and in those days, our food shortages were so bad that we were hopelessly dependent on America for free food aid. And America used to send us millions of tons of free food every year. And without that, I am pretty sure millions of Indians would have died of starvation. So, given that background, what India today has achieved is a miracle, because now what has happened is that from being a deficient country dependent on aid and imports, we have become a big success story. Let me give you some examples again. India is the second largest producer of rice and wheat in the world. India is the second largest producer of cotton in the world. India is the second largest producer of tea in the world. India is the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables, which we call horticulture, in the world. And the biggest miracle, India is the largest producer of milk in the world. And that is an achievement we all must be proud of.
Well, sir, this is very dramatic change, and I'm very happy for that. But, sir, how did such a miracle happen?
You know, in economics, Rupali, there is a term called productivity. So, what has changed in Indian agriculture between the late 1960s and now is that there has been a dramatic improvement in productivity of Indian agriculture. Now, what is productivity? Productivity is very, very simple. What is the number of kilos or quintals or tons of rice, wheat, cotton, tea, fruit, or vegetable that you grow in 1 acre or 1 hectare? So, till the late 60s, in India, the per hectare output of all these food items was very, very low. And by now, it is exceedingly high compared to the past. And that has resulted in a massive increase in agriculture output and production, to the extent that we have become a net exporter of food grains. And dear friends, you will be surprised that in 2024, India earned more than $50 billion in foreign exchange by exporting food products.
Well, sir, this is indeed dramatic. But, sir, what exactly were the key ingredients that led to this achievement, wherein India was a free aid country and now it has turned into a largest exporter?
Again, Rupali, things are very, very simple. Just don't pay attention, too much attention to the jargon. But first, some history. Again, this history is very important. Lal Bahadur Shastri became the Prime Minister of India in 1964, right? Now, very interestingly, Lal Bahadur Shastri was the one who initiated the process of what we now call the Green Revolution. So what he did was he tasked the then agriculture minister and a team of agriculture scientists. Keep, please, I am giving you a total free hand. Find ways and means where we can substantially increase our agriculture output. And very interestingly, when hostilities were with Pakistan, remember the 1965 war, were going on, Lal Bahadur Shastri actually met a young technocrat, a young man called V. Kurien. Now, V. Kurien in those days was handling Amul. I'm sure you know the famous brand Amul. And he was based in Anand, Gujarat. And he asked V. Kurien, can you become the first chairman of my National Dairy Development Board, which I am planning to set up? Interestingly, V. Kurien said, sir, I'll do that gladly, but I have one condition. I will not report to bureaucrats, and the NDDB office will not be in Delhi. It will be here in Anand in Gujarat. Shastri agreed to that, and that is how the White Revolution was born. So you had a Green Revolution, you had a White Revolution, and to her credit, Shastri died very early, but Indira Gandhi, who succeeded him, she continued this encouragement of scientists, and eventually what happened was the Green and the White Revolutions happened, and by the late 80s, The problem of food shortages in India completely disappeared, and now, of course, we are producing so much that just imagine the Narendra Modi regime is giving 5 kg of free rice and wheat to 800 million Indians, and yet we have a surplus and we are exporting, right? So, Rupali, now let's come to the real reasons why productivity increased, which led to India becoming such a success story in agriculture. The number one factor was that India started using better quality seeds, what we call high yield seeds. So, number one was better quality seeds. Number two was that till the late 60s, use of fertilizers was very limited. After that, fertilizers were extensively used. That led to an increase in productivity. Similarly, pesticide use also increased because pesticides ensured that there was no damage to crops. Okay, and even more important than that was a big investment in irrigation facilities. Farmers need water and lots of water. So traditionally, what used to happen was we were dependent on monsoons. And whenever monsoon failed, Indian agriculture failed. But by investing in irrigation, what we did was through building dams, through irrigation canals, through linking of rivers, what happened was, irrespective of how the monsoon was, water was always available to farmers. And that meant a quantum jump in productivity, because when water was available round the year, a farmer who used to grow only one crop during monsoon started growing 3 crops. So automatically, all these 4 factors have led to a dramatic increase in productivity. And when I say dramatic, look at it, this simple data. In 1975, the per hectare output of rice was about 1,300 or so kgs. Not bad. But in 2024, the per hectare of rice had gone up to 4,400 kgs. So that is the miracle.
And sir, India has also substantially grown his fruits and vegetables productivity as well.
You are absolutely right, Rupali. Till, let's say, the first decade of the 21st century, fruits and vegetables, which means horticulture output was traditionally far lower than that of food grains, or which is agriculture. Now, as I mentioned earlier, because irrigation facilities were not there and people focused more on rice and wheat, so fruits and vegetables were not grown to that extent. And in any case, even Indians on an average were very poor. So most Indian families were not in a position to afford vegetables and fruits. But that gradually changed decade after decade. And thanks to irrigation, thanks to better knowledge, horticulture improved. And sometime in the second decade of this 21st century, horticulture outpaced Indian agriculture, and now the horticulture output is consistently higher than that of agriculture, and that's a fact.
But sir, what about the problems?
Well, Rupali, I think in most of the episodes that I mentioned right at the beginning, in most of the episodes, we discussed challenges and problems. Now, I have no dispute, there is no doubt that Indian farmers and Indian agriculture does face a lot of serious problems, does face a lot of serious challenges. But I think let us conclude this episode at least on a happy note by saying that yes, India faces many challenges, but here is also a success story, a virtual miracle we need to celebrate.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable inputs. So stay tuned with the episode of Chai with Current that takes you beyond news and current affairs into deeper insights.
Thank you again, Rupali, and I will repeat it again. Being better informed increases the chances of success, not only in your career, but also in your life. Thank you.